Welcome to the InJoy podcast, where your new best friends, Shauna and Thevi, share our journeys to joyful discovery.
Join us in a space of bold truth and unfiltered discussion as we discover what it means to thrive.
We
We
welcome
welcome
you
you
in
in
joy
joy
and
and
love.
love.
Okay, so today's episode, we're talking about something that's really, this is a favorite topic of mine. Like,
It's becoming a favorite of mine as well.
because
And
I
I'm
think
real
all the,
curious to see what come out for you now.
mind your business.
Girl, you are my business.
But like, I like this topic because I think this is what all the girls should be doing. I think all the girls and the guys should be practicing this a little
I'm
bit.
about to say just a girl.
No, the girls and the guys. Today we're discussing the joy of missing out on sex.
Yes, and so that's a theme for this is our first JOMO episode, but one of the themes for our podcast is to start exploring topics that instead of FOMO, we focus on JOMO, which is the joy of missing out on something. So we pick a topic of something that, whether it's pop culture, our lives, something we choose, that's the key word, like we're choosing to opt out of or miss out on, and talk about it with you all and what we enjoy, how it brings joy into our lives.
Love that.
Yes.
So just a disclaimer. It's your body.
Your
It's
business.
your choice, your business, your body, your business. Okay. There's benefits and drawbacks to having a full sex life, and there's benefits and drawbacks from abstaining from sex. So we're not telling you what to do. We're telling you how we find joy in doing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
And
not
missing
telling
out
you
on
what's
this.
right or wrong. Yeah.
Facts. Okay. So, there's several reasons why this came up. Right, like I feel like it just came up in our personal lives
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
we're dating and we're getting to know people, and we've had our hearts broken, and all the things of like what it means to date. And we realized that like sex was a factor in our dating life, that was an important factor that we needed to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So I like to like always go back to like current events, and something that comes up automatically for me when I think about celibacy is the fact that after Sierra dealt with Future,
Yeah.
with, excuse my language, fuckboy galore. I love Future's music though. Listen, Future, if
But
you
as a
listening,
partner,
Hendrix was the best R&B album I've heard in my life.
that
Okay?
ain't a life. I haven't heard that. I need to listen.
In my life. He was in his Scorpio bag, okay? It was a great album. But as a partner, you are horrendous. Terrible.
I'm sure he not watching this.
Oh,
I would hope
he probably not watching this, but if you ever watch this,
Right, that's what I was like, man.
you should book
Why you
us
coming
for
Future?
I
I think he knows who he is.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
okay with it. That's
He-
what I take from what I see out
You're
there.
right.
People
You're
who
right.
know, no, yeah.
The ones who don't know. That's a fact. But so after Sierra dealt with Future and went through all that heartbreak and all that pain, before she decided to enter into another relationship, she decided to practice celibacy.
Yes.
And even when she got into a relationship with Russell Wilson, she continued to practice celibacy with him until they were married.
Okay.
Right? So I thought that the fact that she is a prime popular example of removing sex.
And how it can have a positive impact on your
Literally.
life and your relationship, because they are thriving in their marriage.
They are at
I
least from
wonder
what
if-
we see.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course, of course. But I'm also like, I wonder if that would have been possible had she not done it.
Because
I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
because dick is
Not to
blinding. I'm sorry. I just had to say that real
I was-
quick because
Y'all see
it's
my face?
like,
I truly wasn't ready.
because it's like, I feel like you're right. Like, would she have had that relationship
I'm
if
just
she
saying.
was having sex along the way in her dating journey and like really not taking the time to discern, is this a relationship for me?
Yeah.
Well, let's go into the definition. Go ahead.
Okay, you don't want to bring up the other person that comes to mind? Yvonne?
No, because she still ain't had sex yet. So being celibate is easy for her. Sorry,
You
we're talking
don't know
about.
that.
You're right. I don't know. So
It's probably a lot of pressure from society on this woman, especially given her age. Like, don't
the
do that.
second person is Yvonne Orji.
Thank you.
Popular Nigerian comedian, actress. She probably do
Does she
some
produce and
producer,
write? Yeah.
writer. And she's a 40-year-old virgin.
Is she still 40 or is she over 40 now?
She might be 41 now. I don't
Yeah.
know, but she's a 40-plus-year-old virgin, which is a great movie, by the way. But
She talks about it openly. I
she
think.
does. She talks about the like, but hers are for like more religious reasons,
Yep.
where she's like, she wants to wait until marriage because she feels like sex should happen under the covenant of God and under the covenant of marriage, which I also think is a beautiful way to discern whether you should be in partnership or not, because she's just abstaining. She she's never had sex, so she's
Yeah.
completely like just not engaging in that. So her mind is very clear.
Okay.
So yeah, those are our
I just wanted to
two
give
proper
her
examples. Give her
yeah, like give her
flowers.
airtime. Yeah, I'm like you can't just cut her out. Because it's I think she's a different example, important one, but a different example of what celibacy might look like.
Yeah.
For the girls. So according to WebMD, celibacy is the practice of not having sex, plain and simple. But not everybody defines it or practices it the same way. Some people abstain from like all sexual contact. Some people include kissing. Like it really is in terms of like how you practice celibacy is all on you.
And I like that definition because people will argue you down that like celibacy means you can't have any kind of
Yeah.
sex, any kind of interaction. You can't even
Yeah.
have sex with yourself. The lies. You can
Yeah,
still,
celibacy is for you to
it's
decide
literally for
what's
you to define.
yeah, like what is permissible and what's not.
So some people are masturbating
Hmm.
and not having partnered sex.
Yeah.
Some
Some people, I
people,
think I was looking it up last night in preparation for today, and like they brought up penetration. Like for some people, it's like specifically not being penetrated by a penis or any
facts.
penetration at all. So it's like
I
it,
like that because you could get head and still be
that's
celibate.
your business.
That's
That's
your
why we started. It's
business.
like it's
What
your
Tabitha
business.
say? That's your
Yes,
business.
seriously.
Okay.
Auntie Tab said it. Okay. So, I mean, in terms of the definition, it really is just not having sex. So, whatever you define sex as, whatever, you choose to abstain from when you're celibate is totally up to you.
So don't let nobody judge you
Hmm.
if you decide to practice it in a different way.
Exactly.
Like, don't listen to people when it comes to that.
So, there are some other reasons that people choose to be celibate. And some of those reasons are like preventing pregnancy or STDs. There are two specific reasons I think that resonate with us more, but I'm going to read the others first. Focusing on school or career and managing physical health. There is also the reason of mental health concerns and waiting for a certain level of romantic commitment. I think those last two are the ones that resonated most with us.
Yeah, but you want to know something like interesting,
What?
and I don't know if I've told you this before,
What?
but like my first bout of celibacy was to focus on in college. I
Yeah,
was
you mentioned that.
celibate, yeah, all 4 years of college. I abstained from having sex so that I could focus on school because I realized that like dick was distracting.
What? What? I was not mature enough to realize that during
No,
college.
I knew real
uh,
quick. Like, I mean, I went through a really hard heartbreak my
right
senior
before.
year of high school. And so I was like, okay, so obviously when I am enveloped in a relationship, it can be hard for me. I didn't have the discernment then to be
Yeah.
able to focus on
But to
multiple
even
things at
know
a
you
time.
needed the discernment, I wasn't there at that time.
I've been wise.
Yeah,
Came out the
yeah, no,
womb
you are
wise. You know what I'm
there.
saying?
What was your GPA when you graduated?
3.6, 3.7.
It was worth
Magna cum laude.
it. It was
Okay.
worth it.
But right now, what I feel like we resonate with the most, yes, is managing mental health concerns and waiting for a certain level of romantic commitment. I and I think they tie together. Like
Mm.
I
They
think,
can. I don't think they
yeah,
always do though.
like I feel like some people enter, especially nowadays in the
Oh,
dating world. The girls are entering situationships real quick and real easy, situationships that are driving them literally crazy because they haven't worked on themselves, right? They haven't figured out like, how do I ask for what I need? How do I hold myself accountable? How do I hold this other person accountable? And they're just engaging in the sexual activity. And if they would take
you
the
don't think that was happening when we were their age?
no, I definitely think
Oh, okay.
that's exactly what was happening. I think it's something that comes with wisdom.
You're just saying at that phase and like what's acceptable right now.
Exactly. I feel like, and we saying at that age,
We ain't that much
women
older.
women are our age
Touche.
doing that.
I was about to say because in my mind I'm definitely like 62. But I'm not.
She do got a really old soul. That's
Yeah,
not.
I'm
That
over
is the
here
truth.
like I've been through. Like
She got a really old
I'm over here
soul.
giving old lady with it.
No, but the girls are our
Yeah,
age, like
no. I
not
recently
looking
had a
at themselves.
conversation. Yeah, I recently had a conversation with a friend where that came up, and I just saw the messiness, and I know she probably got annoyed with me, and if she watching this, I love her. She give me grace all the
Yeah.
time. But I promise you, I asked like probably 6 different times, like, how old is she? How old is she? Because I was just so shocked of
Yeah.
like what was actually happening, and assuming that these women would be at a certain level of maturity, and they just not.
They're not. I mean,
Yeah.
because I think like we've had this conversation before, and this actually goes into like what the benefits are of practicing celibacy. Um, we don't be gauging what our guardrails are.
Yes.
Like we don't gauge what our boundaries
Check out
are.
the emotional boundaries episode, y'all. We talk about guardrails.
Right? You just like you meet a guy, he entices you, he fine. You like the way he talk a little bit. So then you hop in, you have sex with him forgetting like, but you get triggered if somebody don't call you every
Yeah.
single
There's
day.
lack of self awareness.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you getting triggered and you like, oh my gosh, he already acted funny. I just gave him a little bit of coochie and now he acted funny. And now you ain't got it in you to be like, oh, let me just tell him like, hey, I like it when you call me. I really like talking to you every day.
Well, that also I think requires a certain level of like being comfortable with feminine energy, which is the journey that you're on.
Oh, period.
Because the way
Period.
you delivered that was real feminine. I
Oh
don't
my
think
gosh,
everybody's able to deliver it that way.
Cause I used to deliver it like, why you don't call me every day? I swear you don't fuck with me. You don't like me. You don't like me.
So,
And so
which of the benefits does it relate to?
what?
You said this connects to the benefits of celibacy.
Oh,
Is it psychological?
yeah, I think it connects to the psychological benefits. Like, okay, so let's go through what the psychological benefits
Yeah.
of celibacy are. Um, choosing, and I love this because this is the part that I connect with the most.
Yeah.
Choosing the boundaries of celibacy can be empowering for people who want to make thoughtful choices about sex.
And that's in a relationship or out.
In or out of a relationship. And this is exactly why I think more people should be practicing celibacy, the girls and the guys, like, because I think that this could be every generation. I do hate when people be like this generation, but this is the generation I live in, so that's what the fuck
right. This is what's relevant.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. But like this generation, we have gotten to a point of being so sexualized and saying that sex is the only empowering thing. Your sexual freedom is the only empowering thing. No, there's empowerment in being able to say, no, not yet. Let's take a break from this. Yeah, not with you. Let's take a break from this. Like you could be having sex with somebody and be like, you know what, babe? I really need to focus on making sure I can execute on this for like the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I would just like to wait with you. Because in the next 3 weeks, it's going to be lit. But for now, I'd like to wait with you. You're putting intention into your sexual practice so that there's actual results and goals coming from it. Right? You're not living life on autopilot.
More room too for other things in the relationship.
Oh my gosh, seriously. Like that's what like people,
especially early relationships. Because I thought of that because I'm reading the other benefits, and I think the one that resonates with me is that celibacy allows you to build a more meaningful relationship foundation.
I agree.
That hit for me.
And I feel like that's what I am experiencing right now. Like getting to learn somebody long distance is like, I can't just rush to go get some peen because
I think it's so funny that we call it peen.
Peen. How many words
Why
are we
reducing
I can't run and go get some eggplant like real quick. Like I really have to it's not a distraction. Like I'm getting to learn who the person is, getting to build meaningful communication with that person, and you're not getting distracted by just the sexual chemistry. And I think a lot of times we're just getting distracted by sexual chemistry.
Yeah, one thing, I mean, we had this conversation before, one thing we talked about too was like the brain chemistry when you have sex. And the impact that has, that we just disregard. I think we're in an era of society where like we're connected with our bodies, but we don't really acknowledge how powerful our bodies are.
100%.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, we're doing all these things and like, like, oh, my body's my temple and I eat this and I do that. But like legit, sometimes your body's in control with how your hormones, like you can't control your neurological synapses, like, or what's released to when, right? And so it's like your only choice is to either abstain because that is going to happen. Yeah. That's your brain chemistry.
Telling them more about like what's going to happen, essentially when you have sex with somebody, it do not matter who it is.
Don't let an orgasm be involved.
Oh, Jesus.
Another level.
Okay. It don't matter who it is. You will release dopamines.
Yeah.
You will release
Did you
serotonin.
say dopamines with a with an S?
Oh dang, was that some black stuff? It's not an S
I
behind
done
it.
mispronounced the celibacy like 20 times.
The
Dopamines.
dopamines. Okay. You will release the dopamines.
Yeah.
You will release the serotonin.
Yep.
And dopamine and serotonin, when it's released, it draws you closer to that person. That is
Like
just
you
your
cannot
natural
fight it.
body
You
chemistry.
can't fight it.
That's
The same
it.
way you can't fight like other automatic responses that happen for you. Like you can't change that when it happens. Like, oh, I'm gonna have sex. Like I hate when people talk about it that way. Like, oh, I'm just fucking to fuck. It's like, no, your brain does what it does regardless of how you gotta force yourself to think about it differently. Like you're attached to that person
Facts.
on some level.
And especially as women, because not to put us all in a box, but like women will try to say things like men will say in the terms of like, oh, like once I hit it, like, oh, I could completely separate from this, or once I hit it, their value goes down to me in any sense. It don't work like that for us. Like it just doesn't. Once you hit it, if you're a woman, once you have sex with a man and that dopamine and serotonin releases, especially if it's released through orgasm, your body, just like crack, is saying you need
y'all
that.
should research dopamine. It's a reward.
It's there you
hormone.
go. It's literally like taking a hit of crack.
Yeah.
Like, and so you can't control that in your body, but what you can control is what activities you're engaging in and who you're engaging with it with.
And when. Yeah.
And when you're engaging in it. What else? I like this one a lot too. Celibacy can promote positive self-esteem and self-care.
Yeah.
Who you have sex with can affect your finances, your mental health, and your decision-making abilities. Taking time away from sex can have positive self-esteem implications of not measuring your self-worth according to who you attract sexually.
I like that.
That shit is so deep. Because I'm tired of hearing y'all had sex with a man, he got good dick, that man is broke, he ain't got no car, you buying shit for that man, you let him use your car, you giving him passes for every single mistake he makes because he give you an orgasm.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like the benefit that resonated with me the most, which I've openly talked about with you, is the mental health concerns. My choice for celibacy, and it's not just actually, what you mentioned of like how a man can come into your life and impact men or women, by the way.
Yes, correct.
It's just men for us. But how somebody can come into your life and like be on some fuck shit and impact your mental health. For me, it's even beyond that of like I'm managing and navigating mental health concerns that I need energy outside of that. I gotta now pull from like I don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
I don't have the capacity to be involved in like evaluating the risks and decisions around. I needed to manage mental health issues that have nothing to do with that.
Facts. And you know what? You just saying that. When it comes to managing risk, you're supposed to manage like if you're a project manager, if there's any of the project manager girls out here, if there's any project management girlies out there or fellas, you mitigate risks ahead of the project. You literally calculate all of the risks before you enter the
throughout.
And you reassess throughout. If you are just entering the situation having sex, you haven't mitigated any of the risks. You haven't assessed any of the risks. You don't have a risk assessment plan. You literally just hopped into a situation. Then all of these things are coming up and you're blaming the other person for your mental health concerns, your self-esteem
too, and not because they didn't realize what their own boundaries were. That's a risk too. Like
Facts.
You a risk in this situation. Goddamn it.
Facts, because you did not take the time to assess what your boundaries are, and that's why we go back to celibacy is a guardrail.
Yeah.
It's you taking your time to assess this situation, assess the feelings you may have, the mental health implications, the financial implications, like all of that. And if you're going to be serious about dating, and this is if you're serious about dating. Like, let's say...
I have a question for you when you finish this, though. It just came up. It ain't even on
Go ahead.
No, finish what you were saying.
Okay, so let's say you're a girl who is not serious about dating or a fella who's not serious about dating. And you got the strongest mental health in the world. You've been in therapy for 16,000 years. Your self-esteem is on 10,000
hours.
Ain't nobody ever affected you ever. Then you just a cold motherfucker. You different. You just different. But the reality of the fact is who we surround ourselves with absolutely has an effect on our self-esteem, absolutely has an effect on how we live our lives. Your sphere of influence is the most important thing, and who you let in you or who you decide to put yourself in has just as much of effect on you as your friends, as your family, and as the people who you work with.
And that's why I made the comment earlier. It's like we real body conscious, but then we don't really understand our bodies. We don't
Literally.
really understand our energy. Like, yeah, people love to talk about it, but at a basic level, like we're not as a society taught to assess simple things like who you let in your aura. Like your aura extends 9 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It can if you have a strong aura. It can. You ever met somebody who walk in the room,
You just feel
you
it.
across the room, you feel it. That's because they aura is strong, you know. And so it's like you also have to acknowledge like there are things you can't see about how you move into the world, moving through the world that affects you, and people can affect for you. And so it's like before they even have a conversation, they could be affecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my question was,
What?
so when you were talking about celibacy as a guardrail, made me think and wonder if, as you were on this journey of celibacy, did what you were protecting change how you saw celibacy? Meaning, like, because it's a guardrail. When you think about guardrails, you like driving. It's to protect your life in situations where your car might, this environment might be risky for.
Yeah.
But it's because you value your life on the road. You know, like, so what is it that you value that makes celibacy a good guardrail? And did that change your perspective of celibacy?
So I think what the thing that I value the most, and the first thing that came to mind, was breaking generational curses.
Okay.
I was born out of wedlock, and although my parents married, like, I was born out of wedlock. I have family members who have had children out of wedlock, and although those kids are very happy now, I don't know what the implications of that will be as they get older. I just know what the implications of that were on me in my life.
Okay.
Right. And so when I think about the fact, and even though if and when I do have sex, birth control, condoms, all of that is great.
Yeah.
Right. But pregnancy can still happen.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine, like, it terrifies me having a baby with a man that does not value family, that does not have the same desire to break generational curses, that does not want to elevate the Black family unit and display black love.
You're very clear about
that.
And that's
100%.
one of the benefits that we do have noted, that celibacy allows you to, like, get rid of the psychological stress associated with things like pregnancy and, like, what that situation might look like if you were to engage with that person and have a child. So, yeah, I love that.
I don't even want to, we ain't even got to test it, baby. We ain't even got to test it. I'm good. So that's when I look at celibacy, like, I literally be looking at it as, this is just important. So, A, I can see you for who you are, and I can see what you value.
Yeah.
B, I can see if I even like you, because I don't know about y'all out there, but my coochie and my heart connected.
I think everybody's is.
It's connected.
Whether they acknowledge it.
Whether they acknowledge it or not. Mine, they connected. It's a straight channel, okay? And so, because I know myself.
One, you into the other.
Come on, you're into one, you're into the other. And so, because I know myself, it was like, I value my heart, so I need to value my vagina. And then I value the future of the kids that I will bring into this world. So
that's very powerful.
That's what it was for me.
You clearly have processed this at another level.
Girl, I've been doing celibacy on and off since 2011.
So what, 20 years? No, 10 years.
Sorry, I was trying to do the math too. I was like, hold up,
I'm in
10, 12 years. Yep. On and off. Okay, so let's talk about the spiritual emotional benefits.
I mentioned one already, which was, you mentioned one. So we've already covered two.
Oh, which one I mentioned?
You mentioned choosing boundaries of celibacy can be, oh wait, I'm in the wrong section. Sorry, y'all. So I mentioned the one around meaningful foundation of relationship.
Oh yeah, amen.
The other one's around healing and trauma, how it allows you to heal from traumatic experiences.
Yes, and I agree with that. I agree with that too. Like I told y'all, I had a really bad heartbreak in high school. And I think oftentimes, what did they be said? Like the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. Yeah. It's not. It's not.
That's not true. We busted myth.
Like,
that's a myth buster.
That's a myth buster for real. It's literally not. I mean.
Yeah, that never made sense to me.
It's literally, you're just diverting healing that you're going to have to do anyways.
So delaying it.
Delaying it. Yeah, you're just
Mm-hmm.
delaying healing. You're going to have to do anyways. You're actually then putting the responsibility on somebody else to validate you, where you should be taking the time to validate and
Mm.
heal yourself. And so when y'all be going through traumatic breakups and stuff like that, please take time to yourself. Like, or if you've ever experienced feeling violated by somebody else in a sexual way,
Mm.
there's two trauma responses. There's a trauma response of I'm not gonna engage in sexual activity at all, and I don't want anybody to touch me, look at me, sexualize me in any way, shape, or form. And then there's a trauma response of, you know what, this person took my power away from me, so I'm gonna take my power
Power
back
back.
by having as much sex as possible.
Yeah.
And either side of the Likert scale can be a lot.
Yeah, those are two extremes.
Right? It's two extremes. Like, you got to figure out what is best for you, but the most important thing is to
And
take
what
the
your healing
time
process looks like.
to figure out, how do I feel and how can I help myself process through what I'm feeling.
No, that's powerful. And then the last spiritual and emotional benefit that we have listed is around religious beliefs, like a celibacy, allowing people to be more connected to their faith and to God. I mean, regardless of what your particular faith or religion is,
Yeah.
people use it a lot of times and benefit from it in that way.
And I'm not the most religious person. I do like I believe in Christianity, but it's like, for me, it's more from like a spiritual connection to
Mm-hmm.
God,
Yeah.
and seeing Jesus Christ as a role model for what it means to be on this earth and walk through this planet.
Yeah.
But like in a spiritual sense, like, I do focus on my chakras. We both
That's what I was
focus
about
on
to
our
say.
chakras.
I can get into this one,
Yeah, that
even
that
though I'm
sacral
not like
chakra.
religious.
Yeah, that sacral chakra is important. Like, that sacral chakra ain't nothing to play with. That's your
That's your
creative
life
life
force. The
force.
ability to move. I mean, that's why the example of you choosing to be celibate in college so you could focus on work, like you were creating a different environment for yourself to be able to thrive in that situation. Like you knew that your life force energy didn't need to be tied up and being poured into other situations in order for you to accomplish what you were trying to accomplish.
Literally, like, think of yourself as a pitcher of water, a completely full pitcher of
Yeah.
water, and you have many cups in front of you.
As soon as you mentioned pitcher of water, I
What?
actually imagined dirty water.
Why you say that?
Meaning, like, I guess my metaphor for celibacy and like my energy
Mm-hmm.
is like, don't come dirtying up my water. Like, my water is pure, and if you, as a woman, I'm not sure what other, like, a man's experience of this is, but as a woman, I see it very much as like, I have my energy in my aura, and if I'm allowing a man in, I have to be cautious of what he's bringing into my water.
Yeah.
Like, don't come poisoning my water. Because I intentionally, and that's why I said,
because it'll poison every aspect of your life.
Exactly. That's why I was getting into. I was like, I can get into this one because my spiritual life is very much where I spend a lot of my time and energy, and so that spiritual energy pours into every other area. So if you come in and you dirty and it's murky water, like you said, it gets poured into every relationship I have, whatever I'm trying to accomplish in terms of my purpose and career, like my actual physical body, like, it starts to affect all of that. And so celibacy for me was a way to create a guardrail for my spiritual life.
Yeah.
Because people were bringing their shit. I don't like, sex is not worth me having to deal with your insecurities. It's not.
I was just about to ask you, do you feel like you have to heal the people you have sex with? Or like, do you feel like you're put into positions where you feel like it's an obligation, or
I used to, but not anymore.
to heal people you have sex with?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
That connection was pretty strong, so it was just like, but I don't think that. No, I'm just answering that.
Currently, no.
No.
Have you felt like that before?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah. I think that, like, what's your attachment style?
I don't know. It fluctuates. I ain't gonna lie. So I've taken it and it says secure,
Mm-hmm.
and I've taken it and it says, it's one of the avoidance.
Yeah. So I think if you're any attachment style besides a secure attachment style, when you are engaging in a sexual dynamic, like, let's say you're anxious, then you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to heal this person. I got to figure out what I got to do to keep this person up so that they can pour their energy into me instead of you sitting there pouring the energy into yourself. And then if you're like dismissive of any kind or avoidant of any kind, you not only start neglecting that other person who you're engaging in sexual activity with, but you start neglecting your own healing process because you're trying to devoid yourself of emotions, period. And at the end of the day, it all goes back to, if
Is
you're a person,
anxious avoidant a style?
yeah,
I think that's
it's
my style.
anxious avoidant is like what do they call it? Like it's an ambivalent attachment
That's
style.
I was gonna
You
say
can go to one extreme or the
that's what
other.
I've gotten in the past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like either way, it's affecting every area of your life because your emotions are directly tied to the person who you're having sex with. That's just
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like, and even if you're having sex with them casually, when you that muddy water example resonated in a sense of like, I don't know if
Yeah, I'm
you've had
taking
this
this water to
experience
somebody else.
before, but like you ever dealt like it's that's why I asked you the healing thing. If you've ever dealt with somebody who does not take accountability for themselves
Mm-hmm.
and they're like in a weird stage of their life where they're depressed, they're insecure, or whatever that may be,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like you absorb their energy sexually.
Yeah, that's why I said as a woman.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like you're literally absorbing it.
yeah. I mean, and for some women it might not be, but I tend to be very spiritual, so I pick up on all those things. Like
Yeah.
somebody can come into my space and I feel different. Like
Facts.
yeah, I pick up on all that.
Yeah, I'm
So
definitely
I
the
agree.
protect your energy type of person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely agree with that.
And lastly, we'll talk about the drawbacks before we get into the discussion. So there are drawbacks to celibacy.
We've been discussing.
We've been sitting here telling y'all all the reasons to be celibate, but let's say you watching this episode and you were like, girl, I'm still gonna get that dick. I don't know what you're talking about. Like this, or if you're a man, I'm still gonna get that punani.
I'm still gonna have sex.
I'm still gonna have sex. When you have celibacy or when you're being celibate, you miss the physical pleasure of sexual activity and it can feel lonely. So then when it's time to start or sustain a meaningful relationship, you may be like feeling like, I don't know if I can do this. This feels awkward. I feel anxious about engaging in this.
Have you ever felt like that in your like phases of celibacy?
Yes, for sure. I'd say like in my this is like an ex from 7 years ago. I was celibate for a while before I'd engage in sexual activity with him, and I remember I was so nervous to like have sex with him. I was so nervous, and then afterwards I was like, okay, how do I feel about this? Like, did I make the right decision having sex? What if he start acting weird? What am I gonna do? And like luckily for me, like he liked me, so he wasn't like weird afterwards. But like it's like, what if he would have acted weird? I think I would have been like distraught. Like, then again, I was like 23, 24, whatever like that. But especially then, I was at a level of unhealed that I feel like I would have been distraught. So,
and that's why for me, like, I know we're going to go through drawbacks because, you know, like, we're air signs. We're going to be fair about this.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to give you all perspective.
Facts.
But that's why it's hard for me to even see some of the drawbacks as drawbacks, because then it becomes like some of the things that you're explaining are separate from the celibacy in and of itself. It's like it's because you hadn't healed other parts of yourself around your attachment style, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's like having worked on those things now, being in the same situation, would it impact you the same way?
Oh no, I'll be like, yeah, facts. Now I'll be like, shit, that nigga's lost. I mean, like,
right, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I mean, I would be like,
things,
of course you get hurt, you process or whatever like that, but I definitely wouldn't like, I would not take it personally.
Yeah.
Then, 100%.
Sure,
yeah.
So I think I'm saying all that to say, like, some of these drawbacks we talk about also depend on where you are in your
healing journey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The next was a lack of sex might hurt your health, your physical health. There are known benefits to sexual activity, such as increasing your cardiovascular health. But
feeling like it increased my
why?
Like your heart. Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Because you know what I'm about to ask you next.
Not a benefit compared to actual cardiovascular exercise. Like, I don't think it's
not if you riding it.
First of all,
it's a lot of health benefits. It's basically you being on the Stairmaster.
That's the only position.
That and the Stairmaster is the same thing.
I don't really do the Stairmaster, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. Like, but no, I agree with you. I think I don't know how it says like the other ways to get that benefit is through masturbation, but I ain't never masturbated and been like, "Oh, my heart rate is up." Like that's a masturbation session. Like your heart rate up. Like what was you doing? You just flipping positions with yourself. You like turn around. Yes, okay.
I do, Mel. I'm sure people might be out there having those kind of masturbation sessions.
They are. If y'all are, send me the link. No, I'm just kidding. No, not to the OnlyFans. I meant a link to like teach us what to do
I doubt
to make it heart healthy. I want to be
Okay.
heart
I want to see
healthy.
if a link come through. I'd be real curious.
Send me the link for heart. Don't send me nothing explicit, please. Just the tips.
We're gonna see what links come through. And then the last drawback, which is probably one, not necessarily. Um, so you might not, if you are engaged in a celibacy practice and you are not prepared to engage in sex again, and you do something maybe kind of spur of the moment, and you just out here like say you out, and because you're celibate, you're not really thinking about certain things, you might end up having sex and running the risk of STDs or pregnancy. So that's something to always consider when you are on your celibacy journey.
Y'all need to be paying attention when y'all ovulating. Pay attention. Track your cycle,
How you
okay?
gonna be feeling it? My body be
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
no,
baby alert.
no facts.
Like, bitch, why you playing?
Literally, like if you don't go find a man right now,
Listen,
I'll be like,
she be
girl.
on one. I'm like, ma'am. It got to the point where like, this is a whole caveat, but it got
Mm.
to a point where like the guy that I was seeing, I'd be like, it's ovulation week. Like it was a whole warning. Like, don't holler at me if you're not hollering at me.
Yo, not you turned into a demon.
I would just text him like it's ovulation week.
I'm
Like,
screaming.
if you down until Friday. It's Monday, you're down until Friday.
Locked
Like,
in a cage.
Don't sign up if you got stuff to do.
Not
okay?
you was not letting that man leave the house. You know, I feel like because I'm on birth control, like
I'm not
it
on
suppresses it. Yeah, because when I
suppresses
wasn't on birth control, I was having full blown ovulation cramps.
No, ovulation's a whole thing, y'all. Hormonally, it be a whole thing, especially once you hit a certain age. Because before it was like, what's that? And then all of a sudden, it was just intense.
It was like
what is
literally,
this? Yeah, your hormones just go to a
like to the
level.
late. It was like late 20s.
Yes, ma'am.
That's when like I started getting ovulation cramps, and I was like, wait, I'm
What is
cramping
this?
twice a month now.
Like I feel it right now. Like
You
ma'am.
ovulating right now?
No, I feel it coming. Like that's how much my
Oh.
body. Yeah. It's
You
like,
ovulate around the full moon?
first of all, I start my period a little bit before the full moon usually. And
Okay.
my periods are short, so I can feel my body now.
Oh,
I
transitioning.
can
Okay.
feel transition. I get my cramps in transition. not
Okay. In the full moment. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the discussion topic.
Okay, which one you want to start with?
I want to talk about the second one because the second one, that's my jam.
A man who practices celibacy.
A man who practices celibacy.
Yo, let's talk about it.
What do you think about a man who practices celibacy?
I have a lot of
You see
respect.
how I'm cheesing right now because
I
it's like
know.
y'all fellas out there who be
Y'all
practicing
really
of
be doing
staying.
it.
Ooh,
Certain stuff, y'all in therapy.
Ooh.
Y'all practice celibacy.
come on.
Y'all being vulnerable.
Your
like,
dick got discernment. Jesus, come
You ain't out
on.
here with dirty dick.
You different.
Your
You
water
different.
pure.
Your water pure. You got that Brita filter water. You different.
It's giving alkaline spring
Okay,
water.
come on. We love a man who practices
No,
celibacy.
Yeah, we love a man who's like about his shit, responsible and like intentional.
Yeah, intentional.
Love
Like
an
I
intentional
just,
man.
so many people are living life on autopilot.
Yes.
Like, yes,
And
you're.
it's like once you reach a place of being intentional, you see the world so different. It's almost like you can't even see the people who on like you can't relate to the people on autopilot no
Can't.
more. Seriously,
Can't.
it's a whole
Literally
shift.
can't.
It's a whole
Like,
shift.
I literally was just having this conversation with someone last night where I was like, you know, like that person, they really they take the perspective of the collective. Like even though they're intentional themselves, they're very objective. So
Okay.
they're always like, but that's not the reality for the collective.
Okay.
And I had to tell him like, you know what, you're right. You're so right, but I hope this don't sound egotistical or like I'm on this spiritual mountaintop because I still have plenty of spaces in my journey to go through, but I just can't relate.
Seriously.
I can't relate with moving through life on autopilot. I can't relate with not being intentional about my choices. I've been there, done that, saw the results of it.
When you were in it, it was uncomfortable, and who want to live like that?
So like, and then also not only is it uncomfortable, your life is on autopilot and now you a victim. And you constantly seeing yourself as a victim. Everything is happening to you instead of you taking the accountability because you're being intentional about your life.
Having, you can say that from a place of like your disposition being what it is. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I just feel like God made people a certain way. And
They
they
do.
are the people that are on that. If you believe in multiple lives and all that stuff, but it's like that's the journey that they're on, and
Yeah.
they will never see it the way you see it. But I agree with you in that, like the whole collective thing, because I don't think there's a collective experience that people are having. I think that there's an experience that people buy into. So you
Ooh.
get what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
it's not really collectively happening. Y'all just regurgitating it amongst each other and creating that reality by believing
Yeah.
in it. If you were to just, if one person or a few people were to just believe something else and regurgitate that and replicate that, then it'd be a whole nother collective perspective. So it's
And that's
like,
what this platform is for. Come on.
so yeah, it's just like that's kind of how I see it. So I understand that perspective of like I can't relate because
Yeah.
I'm not engaged in that thought process and that pattern of like how you see the world.
Because I literally just I woke
I
up one
decided,
day and made a
but everybody's
decision.
not capable of that. That's what
Right?
I'm saying. Like
Like,
everybody ain't built like that.
and literally, if you're watching this, I just want you to know, like, you're ahead of so many people in the collective because you made a decision.
Yeah.
You woke up today, you made a decision. Hey, I am going to listen to something that can fuel me in some way, shape, or capacity, that can change my perspective, and so,
Yeah.
that could give me a different point of view. And because you are engaging in this, your mind may not
and
change.
that's what I think the power of celibacy is.
Yeah.
Of just making a different choice that's for you.
Literally, that's it.
That's
You're like
healthy.
actively engaging in a choice. I love
Yeah.
that. So yes, we are here for the men who practice
I was about to
celibacy.
say, so I
Or
have
is
a lot of
intentional.
respect for a man who practices celibacy, I think. And I kind of got into a conversation with this guy I met recently where we were talking about like non-negotiables and turnoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And when I processed it, I realized disrespect is a huge non-negotiable. Like that's something I just can't get over.
Amen.
So it made me realize though that like somebody I respect and like really respect truly, like you're being fully authentic and everything, like that's very attractive to me. And the choice of celibacy falls into that category.
Oh, because it's a sign of your own self-respect. I agree with that.
It's like, oh,
A man who respects himself is super
and
attractive.
he's able to respect me.
Yeah.
Which therefore is like, okay, that's not something I got to deal with for real with you because the way that you process.
And a man who's intentional with himself would be intentional with you. A man who's discerning with himself will be discerning with you. Because the relationship you have with yourself will directly reflect in the relationships you have with other people. Come on.
Woo! So
Mountaintop. Come on.
So yes, that is my view of a man who practices celibacy. Like it's like I know how I show up. I know, like I know what I bring to the situation and how powerful the dynamic of sex is. And so being able to even just respect the practice of sex and what it is, like I respect you.
And I like the fact that you said how powerful the dynamic of sex is. Mm-hmm. Like when you are engaging in it truly is powerful. You can manifest through sex. Yeah. Like you can literally, sex in itself is an act of creation.
True. It shows, like you said, you relate to the sacral chakra.
It's an act of creation within itself. But then beyond that, like when you are having sex with somebody who's in tune with themselves, the way you draw closer to yourself.
It hit different.
Like when you are having sex with somebody who, like their energy level, the way they view life is at a different level. Shit, you more motivated you ever been in your life. You done having sex with that person, have aftercare. You're just thinking, like, wow, tomorrow morning, I'm going to conquer the world. Like, you walking into work, got a little pep in your step. Life is good.
It's like that person pouring into you.
Right.
Their water pure.
Because like their water is pure.
It hits different. It hits mad different.
Relatable.
I had a random question that's not on our discussion. Are you open to it? Or
of course. No, girl. Fuck this outline.
Because the other ones I feel like we kind of got into, which was like happy, and these are questions for y'all too that you can reflect on. Have you ever practiced celibacy? Was it worth it? I feel like we both addressed that one. And then the other question we wanted to talk through was, what would it take for you to prioritize your need for celibacy? Mm-hmm. And I feel like
we tackled that. Yeah,
okay.
So tackle that yourselves too. Sit with it.
It's on y'all now.
Okay.
So then my question for you on celibacy, as we were just like talking and processing, is like, can you see yourself choosing celibacy within a relationship and what that might look like?
Yes, I absolutely can.
We're also coming from a very single perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, what would it look like if you were with somebody and you like, could you choose it still?
I could. I think it's very sexy.
Okay.
I think it's very, like, right now, I guess, right now I've technically been celibate for 2 weeks.
Respect. Day one is day one.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't matter. It's a choice.
And I'm gonna have to be celibate for another 2 weeks. And at first I was like, when you get in the man's skin, you be like, I want to be in your skin.
You do.
I do.
I was about to say, let's
I'll
not
be like,
speak
I
for
want to
the
be in your
collective. Look, there you go,
skin.
speaking for the
Okay.
collective.
The girls who get it, and the girls who don't. Bitch, stop playing. You get it. You get it. Um, and like, so at first I was like, oh, I just really want to be back in his skin. But then like now I'm at a place of like, I'm really enjoying the fact that absence is making me even more fonder of you. Like
That's why I was
now I'm
curious about
like,
it.
I'm looking forward to the point
Yeah.
when we do get to have sex again, because I'm like just I'm getting to see different sides of you. I'm getting to be mentally stimulated by you. I'm getting to see that there is so much more depth to
Yeah.
you than just having sexual activity with you or cuddling with you or physical, because physical touch is one of my love languages.
Ah, okay.
But like overall, I'm a
That's probably where that
sapiosexual.
in your skin come
Yeah,
from,
it
because it's
does.
like not in my
It does.
makeup.
This be me.
Touch me. We your feet cold. Your feet cold.
I be like,
Now I
touch
see
me.
how men feel.
Why you
I
don't?
do that all the time.
Why
And I
you
be
don't
like,
want to touch me? Stop. Get used to it. It'll warm
I
up.
see. Oh, that was a full circle moment right there.
But no, that'd be me. Like, let's hold hands, let's hug, let's do all
Yeah.
that stuff. So like, but when you take the physicalness away from the situation, you get to really build a connection with somebody that will have you looking at them like, oh my, I can't wait to touch you again. Like this is like, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It does. It builds a certain level of excitement. So I could definitely be celebrating a relationship. I think it's cute when couples like before they get married, they be like, oh,
Let's
now
just
that we're
wait.
engaged, let's just wait for the first night again.
I think that's
I be
cute,
thinking
too.
it's so cute because that wedding night about to be lit.
Especially if y'all had sex before and then waited.
Yes, it's about
versus
to be
not doing it
lit.
at all. Yeah.
But I probably couldn't do it for like more than 3 months. I'd be
I
like,
mean,
bro,
if you
relax.
engaged to me, we married. Like, what? I
Facts.
shouldn't be waiting more than that.
Yeah, like 3 months is crazy. Beyond 3 months, if
Well, that's also me coming from the perspective of like how I want to get married. So that's not fair for everybody. But that's how I'm with you.
how you want to get married?
Like I'm gonna elope.
I feel
I'm
that.
not planning shit. I'm announcing it. Y'all can watch me on the streaming platform.
Not you can watch me
and
on
my
Zoom.
bae gonna be, we gonna be on the island somewhere. Like it's gonna be our moment, not everybody else's. Like I've never been a very like, a wedding and a dress and it's like not me and whoever it is, we gonna all that energy gonna go toward us and him. All that time, all that money. So it's like it's just gonna be an extended honeymoon in my mind.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
But
beautiful.
I relate to you on the whole like getting to know somebody better because this is probably the first time I'm practicing celibacy and choosing to go into a dynamic or engage with someone and still choose celibacy in the beginning. And it does change your perspective completely because now I'm like, we about to learn everything we need to learn about each other. You're going to know so much about me sexually before even really touching me. It's like it's a whole nother level of vulnerability. But my intention behind my celibacy this time was to be more discerning about what I needed, which was somebody who could be emotionally available, and offer that level of intimacy that I need before engaging in sex. And so it's a little thrilling, this time to like, because usually what I would do in the past, I'd be celibate and I'd meet somebody and decide, and then it's fine, we can do it. But this time I'm like, how long you gonna date me? If you don't got more than so much, capacity to wait, then go on about your way.
Facts. And as a woman, it's really empowering. It's really empowering when you are so connected with your feminine energy that you can exude sensuality without engaging in sex.
I love it, girl. We be on the same thing.
Like literally where you can like connect with somebody and there's so much tension in that space.
Girl, it's like extended foreplay.
It is. It's really like long foreplay.
Like imagine a month of foreplay. Yo.
That's a fact.
That's literally what
okay,
you
know what? You know what? Now I have another question for you.
Okay, what's up? We got some time.
Okay.
I'm glad she played it. She like, y'all.
Oh yeah, our producer was like, we said we only need 45 minutes. She was like, okay, I'm gonna put an hour on the clock.
Y'all let me know.
So like, how long do you? Okay, if we're talking about, let's say we talk about Harlem. That's what we're gonna nickname him, Harlem.
We gotta talk about that man.
Okay, let's say we're talking about Harlem.
Okay.
He's current. How long do you want to date him for before engaging in sex? What is your max you would like to wait?
I actually don't have a max. We had this conversation, funny enough, and that's important because Harlem is like fresh.
Yeah.
And so having had this conversation, I think he explicitly asked about time. Like we had a really good. We played a card game, by the way. I meant to tell you that.
You
I can't wait till
did.
dinner tomorrow, girl. We about to get into it.
Oh, I can't wait.
But it came up in like all like asking each other questions, talking, and not engaging sexually at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this concept around time and relationships, like, are you the kind of person who you have a time frame in mind where like, okay, I need to commit to you by then? Came up about sex too, and I was very honest with him in that like with where I am in with myself and in relationship, time ain't a factor for real. For me, it's I'm very clear about what I need to feel and experience from you to take the risk of sex. So because
Mm.
I know emotional, like I'm doing the work around emotional availability and my attraction to certain types of people and like how I need to move different. So it don't matter what you try.
Yeah.
I know what I need to feel a certain way with you.
That's
And
that
so however
manifesting
long,
emotionally
yeah,
aspect.
so it's like however long, like if you show up in a week and you make me feel that, I'm open.
Yeah.
But it's that's the guardrail for me. It's not the time or sex in and of itself. It's like the celibacy is offering me the buffer to allow somebody to show up and facilitate what I need to feel. So if you on your shit and you doing your work, it shouldn't take you that long to facilitate. And I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. But if you got some work to do, that's cool too, you know. But until you can facilitate that for me, I can't engage with you sexually because I want to move down a certain path with somebody. I'm not at a place where like I'm just in a certain place, you know, and that's no judgment to other people and where they are. It's just where I'm at. So if it's a month, it's a month. If it's six, it's six. You know, like if it's a year, it's a year. I really am not. And if somebody else comes along and can facilitate that,
Mm-hmm.
then that's the person I'm rocking with. Like I ain't even trying to be funny. It's that's the
May
priority
the
for
best
me.
man win.
Yeah, that's the priority for me though.
Yeah.
So we had that conversation very openly, and I think he's been in situations where he was able to like not have sex with the person. So he's been married 9 months before they even did anything. So I respected that
Oh, I
immediately.
respect that.
I was like, okay, cool. You have the capacity.
Yeah.
You have the capacity.
You're a
And
man
you
with a certain level of discernment
exactly.
and
And it was
patience.
exactly. And it was his ability to be able to, say that he respected that and she, he's moving however she moves.
Yeah.
Like so yeah. It ain't a time
Come on.
thing.
1 point for the New York niggas. Come
No, listen,
on.
Harlem is racking up the points though. I've been shocked.
Oh my God. I can't wait to hear about him.
Don't hype
I'm
me.
excited now because the New York niggas been winning lately.
That's what you said.
That's what
When
I
I
heard.
said
I
that
ain't
back, he
playing.
was
I
like,
heard
"What you talking
that.
about?"
I heard that. I
I
heard they
don't know
was
if they
winning
hearing it
lately.
though.
So far, the my girly girls,
Mm-hmm.
you, Asia, y'all dealing with New York niggas.
Ain't you too?
Yeah, bitch, but I want to talk about me.
Okay. She's trying to keep it ambiguous. It's gonna put all my shit out there, ma'am.
Yeah, nah, my Brooklyn nigga cool. I mean, I'm sorry, King, not nigga.
You done said nigga so many times now. You trying
I
to?
do, I do. It be flying off the tongue. I really gotta chill.
We can bleep it. Nah, we not gonna. Bleep
No,
it.
we not gonna
What's
bleep
next?
it. Okay, so the closing question that we have for y'all to sit and resonate with is, when was the turning or choice point for you to choose celibacy? If you haven't had a turning point or a choice point for you to choose celibacy, what would it take for you
Yeah.
to choose celibacy? Something for you to sit on, ponder on.
And I think that goes back to like what's the intent really. I think
Yeah.
that's what that question is trying to get to. Like what's your real intention behind making that choice?
Yeah. And have a goal with it. Like literally when you choose celibacy, you're choosing it to align with a specific goal.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. We're very goal oriented women.
Yeah.
And so we chose celibacy to align for specific goals. So we're going to close out the episode with our recommendation and affirmation.
I got you.
Do you want to hit the recommendation?
I got you. I had to burp. I don't know what's going on. Actually, I know what it is.
It's your
I was
drink?
drinking this. Yeah.
Kombucha?
Nah, it ain't full kombucha. It's a probiotic joint though.
Oh, yeah, it's going to do
Got to
that.
get the gut health aligned.
Come on, gut health.
Like, ooh,
Connected
your
to
gut
brain
connects
health.
to everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so recommendation. So in every episode, for y'all that's been with us, you know that we offer a recommendation to help you reflect and explore what might bring you out of your comfort zone so you can experience more joy. So when it comes to celibacy, even if you reflect on the closing question, we think it would be important to explore your sexual experiences and potential limitations. So like take some time, sit with that. If you got to journal about it, but just be very clear of like what limitations might support you or better serve you, what sexual experiences might support you or better serve you, and vice versa. And then explore like non-sexual expressions of physical affection. I feel like you really hit on that. Like if there are certain things that you enjoy, explore like what's included in your limits of celibacy and what's not. Like when it comes to physical affection.
Yeah, facts.
Anything you want to add to that?
Um, I just want to reiterate, like, don't let other people define what celibacy is for you.
Yep.
Like,
that's basically what we trying
yeah,
to
don't let other people define it. You like literally exactly what she said. Think about your limitations, what you need, what you can live without, what you don't need to engage in, the time limit you want to do it for, the like you set up your own boundaries, you set up your own goals, align with that and keep focused on that goal. You're going to be tempted along the way.
Yeah.
That's just normal, right?
I had a conversation with my friend about that too.
What?
Like the temptation. Like I think sometimes when we talk about celibacy, one, we don't acknowledge that sometimes boundaries do serve you. Like boundaries are not always about keeping other people out or, you know, having them change their behavior. Sometimes you have to have self boundaries. And I feel like celibacy is a perfect example of that. But then also like I think we go into it sometimes with this mentality of like, because I'm choosing to be celibate, I'm not gonna be tempted or I'm not gonna be like mentally go back to the place that I'm trying to heal or whatever your intention behind it is. And it's like, that's a part of the process.
It's absolutely part of the process.
That's absolutely a part of the process.
The temptation's
so
going to come. Always keep the goal in mind.
Exactly.
And if you regress, it's okay.
Yeah, like it
just
happens.
get back on track
that
on the
was my
goal.
advice. I was like, maybe you need to have sex to figure out what it is you still hold on to around the, you know, the situation with this person or whatever. You know, it's like sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
You know, to like push your boundaries a little bit just to see like, this how it made me feel. I need to adjust.
Literally, that's
it. It happens.
Okay, so we're gonna leave with our with a card, an affirmation card from the How to Love Yourself deck by who's the person name?
Louise Hayes.
Louise Hayes. She always know that person name. I need to start adding her name to the outline because
we need to start bringing the deck. I meant to.
We should.
We both have this deck and we never bring it.
And it's such a great deck. So if you can find it on Amazon, it's the How to Love Yourself deck by Louise Hayes. And this affirmation is: every habit and pattern I create serves me in some way. When I am ready to let it go, the universe helps me to release it. I have the power to make change.
I love that one.
Okay, so every habit and pattern I create serves me in some way. When I am ready to let it go, the universe helps me to release it. I have the power to make change. Okay,
yeah,
that was good.
I love that one. All right, so, you know, wishing y'all joy and love on y'all journey of celibacy if you own it. If you're considering it, you know, we want to hear about it. Like,
absolutely. I definitely want to hear about it.
I want to hear, like, what's y'all's intentions? What are y'all running into? What makes celibacy relevant? What came up with the reflection question that we shared?
Absolutely.
I'm excited for this conversation.
I am. I'm really excited for it because I know we're going to face a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's a JOMO episode, y'all. Like,
this is the joy of what we miss out on.
Yes, we are. Like, okay. See how we thriving?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
If you a hater...
Not if you a hater.
Please add your comment down so that we can argue.
Block you.
You was gonna block them? Nah, I want the smoke. If you're a hater, I want the smoke. Let's do it.
I want the smoke. You better hope that we get to it before me.
She just gonna block you.
I got time.
Okay.
All right. Well, ready to close it out?
Yeah, let's close it out. Well, we will see you on the next episode of the InJoy podcast. Yes. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed. You was right, girl. Hour.